Okay, so we're going to take a walk around of the T450. So what are your thoughts on the T450 so far after 60 hours?
That's all he has?
That's it.
I think Frank used him for an hour.
Okay.
I don't know. I got to see how he starts in the cold. That's the only drawback. He's a lot of power. A lot of power. Well, let's see how he matures. I mean, what happened? Where's the air filter?
The air filter is up in here now.
Holy cow. How do you change that thing?
You know, it unhooks up in here.
Well, that's a terrible thing. Strike one.
They put your coolant fillers up in there, radiator, hydraulic oil fill. Yeah. Well, that's the same with pretty much the G's in the case, too. I mean, the mid-size machines always had it shoved up in there.
I do like that big, fat exhaust.
Well, that's for the DPF. That's your, right here.
Then how come
battery.
There's a small pipe coming out to the big thing sticking like that?
Oh, that I don't know. That you would have to ask the engineers.
You know something? You know what it is, Mike?
What?
It's for all the machines, and I bet like the bigger machines have a bigger exhaust going to them.
Probably. Ease of production. So the battery is in there, starter, oil filter, the dipstick, your oil fill is the yellow cap, alternator is there, fuel filter is stuck there, there's the fuel cap, that's the computer, the brain of the machine. Your belt is shoved in there. So typical Bobcat serviceability is very good. Got a backup alarm.
Looks like the battery is easier to take out.
Yeah, but it's still going to be tough to jump.
Well, we're not talking about jumping. We're talking about accessibility to take it out.
Oh yeah, the accessibility to take it out is there.
With some of the other machines, it's very hard.
Lift arm stop. You've got a hydraulic oil filter in there with the fan. So they opened up the track system here. This is the newest track system that they came out with. You could clean all in there with a shovel. It'll be a lot easier to clean in the winter to keep the machine from freezing. The serial number plate is up over there. Now we're going to come to the front of the machine, which we feel is a little questionable. Is questionable the word you would use?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it holds up.
This Bobcat looks extremely flimsy for the power the machine has. These hoses down in here are relatively unprotected, and look how close that is to the track. I mean, if a rock gets thrown up in there, you could have a failure that'll stop your job dead. So, I mean, you see the Bobcat. I mean, there's really nothing to it. Power Bobcat is up in there. They did a good job tucking these hoses away. So if a rock jumped over, it wouldn't hit it. Auxiliary hydraulics, 7-pin electric. You got a tie down point. That's all the same on either side. Track system. And these are tie down points over here. So the machine is pretty easy to tie down on a trailer if necessary when you're moving it. Well, not necessary when you're moving it. So the twin cylinders give it much more strength curling. Jump on into the cab. So your radio goes down in there. Heat and AC controls. This is the instructions on the different operating patterns. Windshield washer fluid, cup holder. This would be an open compartment, but it houses the seatbelt for the 2-speed. Gonna come over here, more storage. You've got a ton of HVAC vents. The speakers are down there. Foot pedals for lift and tilt. This machine has the turn dial throttle, no auto idle. You need a larger machine to get auto idle. Even though this light will light up that it has auto idle, the machine does not come with it. You can't get it. Dome light is up in here. Whoops. Okay. Seat belt. Rear visibility is tough. I mean, as you can see, it's tough to see. If someone is bending down behind you picking something up, it's tough to see. But as all radius machines, you can see very well out of the sides, and you don't have that big unicorn boom that will go up here like this. That blocks visibility on the S300, S185 that I have. So that's always a little bit of a hindrance. You know, I came from radius lift path machines my whole life, so the vertical lift was a little bit of a different look for me. Much more challenging to see out. Okay, so we'll activate the panel. It'll prompt you to enter your password. Right now it's in Spanish. It'll speak a few different languages. That's English. So now we'll type in the password. So that activates the panel. You've got your temperature, hours, fuel. This is for the seat belt, seat bar down, tilt functions, your lift and tilt, and the parking brake. So when you put your seat bar down, you're going to press the green button. See how that light went out? Press the green button, and now you'll be good to go. So the machine is telling me to close the door. Got a little upset over that. So the machine's going to kick a code to you that the door was open while the lift and tilt functions were asking to be activated. So that'll clear itself out. That's a minor nuisance. It's really nothing to worry about. Okay, so this is the lights, front and red lights. Now all the lights are on, the white work lights. So this is the auto idle button. See, it'll activate, but the auto idle will not come on. Auxiliary hydraulics, so that's on, that's off, has no high flow. If you had high flow, that would light up. This will just toggle you through the different screens. Engine RPM, so it's at low idle it's 1150. At full speed it's 2630. And flip it again, battery voltage, maintenance, if you do the schedule maintenance through the computer, and there are no current codes. So that'll flip back to the hour meter. So your deluxe instrumentation is still the same as with any M series machine, attachments, how to lock the machine out, you know, simple options for the screen, no active warnings. This gives you the list of vitals in a readout if you don't want to see the gauges. That's for the Bobcat, for the maintenance again. Over here, this is for turning signals, if you had turning signals on the machine. For the auxiliary hydraulics. Trigger is the horn. That actually scared me a little. I didn't realize this machine had a horn. So there you go. This is the trigger for the backhoe attachment, or if you wanted to give constant flow to an auxiliary attachment, you could do that for the breaker, the auger, etc. This is for the combination bucket, or if you have a grapple, or if you just want to control the flow to the attachment. Same thing for here, and this is for the 2-speed. So I activate, so this is low speed, that would be high speed. You'll see the bunny rabbit came up in the computer screen here, and I don't have my seatbelt on, so that's the warning that you have to put your seatbelt on for 2-speed. And then you just flip a switch and you're out. It's basic independent drive functions here, left track and the right track. Foot pedals, throw the pedal back, arms will raise, forward, arms go down. And if you want detent, press and hold. So you gotta press it firmly, and now see the pedal is locked, now it's unlocked. So the arms would have been in float, push the pedal back, curl, push the pedal forward, it'll dump. Typical hand-foot control machine. It has a suspension seat. I don't think this is the fancy air ride seat, but this is the second best seat you could have. I don't really I like this raised. It's a little bit easier to get in and out. Could be a little bit of an annoyance though at times. This is the biggest problem I have with M series machines. It's the side windows. I mean, first of all, the front door is now extremely heavy and tough to get on and off. The G's and the K's, I could take that thing off with one hand, almost one finger even. No problem. These windows are much heavier. They're much more delicate because they see the steel that they run here. So this steel doesn't wrap around the whole door. This is just a rubber gasket. See? So this door, you got to be careful to not break it. This controls the windshield wiper and the washer fluid. And this is the piston to hold it open. See when you open it? So I take the pistons off of my machines because I tend to take the doors off while I'm working and then I put them on at night to close them up. But otherwise, it's irrelevant. This is a power port. Charge your phone, iPod, whatever. These are the nuts and bolts that'll tip the cab back, so you get your wrench in there. Boy, that's tough to get to. You could tip the cab back to get at the hydraulic pump and all the functions underneath. If you got to adjust the steering, blah, blah, blah. But this is my biggest issue here, to go back to the windows and the front door. I hate them. Oh, I'm sorry, before I get to that, power bar attach switch is here. Parking brake is here. Now, back to the windows. So, while I'm cool with the knob locking the windows in place, that's nice. I don't get why we could only have this very small section of window here. It makes the cab so much hotter than it needs to be. So first of all, you're either blasting the air conditioning, and then when you get in and out of the machine, you tend to get sick. Or you have it open with no AC and you're just croaking to death because you can't really get much air into here. Look how much closed in space. This is all closed in. You can't open anything like in an excavator. This is all solid glass. You can't open it. So like I said, I'm fine with the knobs, but you know, machines like Danger Zone, machines like the G's, the K's, the C's, the F's, this whole thing rolled back, and it rolled back all the way to here. So you had a ton of ventilation coming through here. And even in the wintertime, if you want to control the heat a little, if you don't want to cook yourself to death, I mean, you open the window to, you know, get some airflow going. Coco is here. What happened?
I took him because I knew you were still over here.
Huh.
I said, let's find Michael. He came right over here. He must have smelled you.
Huh. Well, he's a bloodhound. Aren't you, Coco? He's the big, ferocious attack dog.
What?
He's the big, ferocious attack dog.
There he is. There he is.
So what are your thoughts on the Bobcat, the arms, and the pins and bushings here? I mean, they look a lot smaller than the T140.
Well, remember, it's double piston. It is double piston. Add the single.
That's true. The T140 is a single piston there, as you could see. So, you know, we have our skepticism about how this machine will hold up once we get into the higher hours, but we'll see. We shall see. Here's the bucket with teeth, the 56-inch, and there's the 60-inch 4-in-1 bucket that I had showed you previous for this machine. But I will show you one nice thing about this loader. And kudos to Kurt's Trading for the D-ring. See this D-ring? You don't have to worry about sliding the hoses in and out. You could just pop this pin out, and boom, you're done. Here's the little hole for it. You don't gotta worry about smashing the D-ring, breaking it off like on the other machines. Even on the G's and K's, they were nuts and bolts. So it wasn't terrible to take off, but you had to break out your toolbox to get them off. This, you just pop a pin out, you're good to go. Alright, so we'll talk about the specs of this loader, and we'll get this thing wrapped up. The T450 track loader has a engine horsepower of 61.1. The SAE tipping rated operating capacity is 1,400 pounds, but in reality, the tipping load would be 4,000 pounds. The operating weight is 6,148 pounds. It'll go 7 miles an hour in standard speed, 11 and 2 speed. The fuel tank is 17 gallons capacity. The length is just over 10 feet. The width is this machine's claim to fame at 55 inches. It'll lift roughly 9 feet high, and the track width is just under 12 inches. So the thing that you have to remember about the T450 is having a width of 4.5 feet is very convenient to have. The machine sports plenty of power. The other positives of it are it's a T140 pretty much, just with a lot more power. And while the lifting capacities are the same, it's still a little stronger than the T140. As far as the cab comforts are there. It has air conditioning, which is nice. It could have a radio, which is great. Power Bobcat. They did make a few mistakes, I feel, when they engineered this machine. So the first thing is something that we were discussing, my father and I, was the hoses that are run close to the track. Those could be problematic. He already has a couple of rocks that got stuck in there, and it's not even operating more than 100 hours. So it's a problem. The other flaws I feel that this machine has is I don't think the pins are sized large enough for the strength of the machine. This machine is going to give you a ton of pushing power, a lot of digging power. And I just don't feel that the frame is up to it. So obviously this is something we're going to monitor. We're going to keep watching it and seeing how the machine holds up over time. Obviously it's brand new. You're not going to have any of these issues right off the bat. The other thing I really don't like about it is they're really not doing great things with their pump. Whatever the controls, they're just not very smooth. They're responsive, but when you're in a G or a K or like in a machine like Danger Zone, like you can feather the pedals, and you can. It's a hydrostatic machine. Everything should be able to move as slow or as fast as you want it to. And this machine and the E45, they're just jerky. Even the T630, it's just a jerky machine to deal with. This machine, steering it is tough. The levers are tough to push forward and reverse. They should be easier at this point. I was disappointed in that. And the only other thing that I have to complain is, like I said, about the foot pedals. But otherwise, I feel it's a pretty solid machine. I think you'll get some good use out of it. The concerns about the frame, well, time will tell. And I just wish that they would do better engineering and more an in-depth look at their pumps and their pedals, and how they get the flow to go. So again, we'll see how it flies with that. Guys, I hope this review has helped you out. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them down below. Thank you to everyone who is subscribing. It means a lot to me, and I hope these videos help you out. So guys, I will talk to you soon. So please be safe, take care, and I'll see you soon.